Welcome back. We have Chuck Arnold visiting with us from the Downtown Bend Business Association. Do you know how hard that is to say that, Chuck?
It is quite a mouthful, isn't it?
Yes.
We just say DBBA.
Oh,
that's a quick way of saying
not
it.
more
Way cooler,
initials,
too.
Chuck, come on.
I like it. It's way better that way.
Do you? Okay.
DBBA.
All right.
I didn't actually.
So what's DBBA do?
So the Downtown Bend Business Association is, as it's inherent in its name, works on business downtown. We work to keep downtown vibrant, doing everything from flower baskets to cleaning the sidewalks to putting on the events, the art walks, the parades, lighting the trees during the holidays, decorating the Christmas tree, shoveling the sidewalks, taking down graffiti.
You do all that yourself?
I have one half-time staff person and myself, and we do it. We represent all the downtown businesses and work to keep downtown vibrant.
So if you like what downtown looks like, maybe give him a high five or something.
And if you don't, then
Then
give him a
help
call.
out.
Yeah, give a call or help out. Yeah.
Do you guys have volunteers? that
I
help
do
with,
have
like, the
volunteers. We
baskets
do
and-
volunteer events. The baskets I run, we run that very professionally. That's like a business. We water I have a guy that comes by in a truck every morning, 4 in the morning, and waters those really
That's
thoroughly.
right.
And that's really, thanks again for that.
Yeah.
And that's, that works out really well to just have somebody that just do it as their job.
Yeah.
But I have a Boys and Girls Club and community groups, campfire, volunteer church groups will come out and help us with cleanup and pull out dumpsters and clean up downtown and whatnot.
Chuck, I'm going to go a little tributary here. What kind of relationship, or how do you feel about the street artists who paint on buildings?
Graffitiers?
They're not, well, I mean, they wouldn't necessarily say they're graffitiists.
Well, if you're speaking recently, there was somebody that did a project in the Franklin Avenue underpass and went out and just painted all that without kind of
Is it a love-hate
coordinating
thing?
it. You know, I understand their motivations, their intentions are good, but when it comes down to private property, and we've been tagged with a lot of graffiti downtown, it's vandalism. And in one case, we had somebody that they did a painting on the side of a building that they thought was beautiful, but turns out it was a historic building. It had been there 100 years. The brick had never been painted on, and now we had to paint over the brick. So once you start the process of painting over brick, you have to permanently paint over it. Now, their creative art was offensive to some people, and it wasn't, approved by the building owner. So it really is property damage.
I would think that it's a perfect
has to be
example
coordinated.
of the fact that you've got a whole lot of different interests.
Yeah.
That
Downtown.
you've got to balance.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's even though we are a private nonprofit association, it's a very public, work that we do.
Yeah.
And so we have to build consensus as much as possible. And we're always going to have some people that are going to not appreciate what we do, and we hear from them. And we just do our best to do what's best for downtown.
So you guys are busy though. You just had some
We've always got stuff going on.
stats come out about how full you guys are downtown.
Yeah, we're at
Lots of
95%
businesses.
occupancy, so we just announced our second quarter occupancy rate, so 95% of the restaurant retail spaces are occupied, which is great news. We've been, that number held true from last quarter as well, so we've had 2 consecutive quarters of that. We've had close to 3 years of over 90% occupancy, which most downtowns cannot speak that highly of that great of a number.
Where were we in terms of occupancy rate?
Oh, well, certainly back in the early 80s and even into early 90s, the occupancy was probably, I don't have hard data on that, but I would guesstimate from anecdotal, from what I've heard from people, that we were at 60% or sometimes even 50%, where every other space would be empty. So it's come a long way. And that, that's not just the efforts of the Downtown Association or the private sector, but what people don't think about, kind of the back end of things that happen when, like the general obligation bond right now that the city has to improve the roads, to put the roundabouts in and do a lot of the road projects to bring our infrastructure up. Well, there was a project like that 30 years ago in downtown Bend, the Urban Renewal Project, that gave us the paved sidewalks, the street lamps, improvements to downtown, nice crosswalks, Muir Pond Plaza, the parking lots, the Rademacher House, the parking garage, all these things that were changed to upgrade downtown. So it was that public investment that made it easy and set up the good bones and structure for the private sector to come in and make it a successful downtown. So it is a partnership. It's not just one group that's responsible for all, but we had good help starting up years ago.
Chuck, how do you guys feel about one particular business, the Crow's Feet Commons? Because I know just from being here for a few years that it used to be a huge problem down there with Muir Pond Plaza, police always having to, go talk to those kids and stuff down there, and now it seems like it's a great patio area to have drinks, eat at, and it just seems like it's really changed that with one business new in there.
Well, what that comes back to when you step back to like a 10,000 foot level of this, you have to, when you're looking at urban planning and public spaces, you can go ahead and create like this wonderful space that we're sitting in right now is an effort of good planning, obviously, but then it has to be used by people. It has to be programmed for good things to happen there. If it's out of sight, if it's out of mind, if it's kind of in a back corner where you say, well, here we created a nice park space, but it's over here behind in this alley,
Yeah.
you know, it's going to attract negative things. And that was kind of the challenge with Muir Pond Plaza, is it wasn't on the way to anything. It was kind of in the back behind Wall Street.
Yeah.
And what we needed was to kind of reset it where it was in the front door of a place. So the association, we worked closely with the city, and the city owns the Rademacher House, historic house that Crow's Feet Commons is in. And they had a number of proposals of businesses there, and we worked on the committee to say, we really think that this use of Crow's Feet Commons would be great. And furthermore, we would like to have them work with the city to lease the plaza for positive use of having events out there, live music, food, drink, and that's exactly what's happened. And it's been a 180-degree turnaround for that space.
Great. Jack, I'm glad we're still on the upswing.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for bringing us up to date.
Yeah, absolutely.
Appreciate it.
We'll be back.